Hello, everyone. Um, Kenpo. Is Kenpo entitled to a master? Hello, I'm Frank Soto. These are the Kinetic Dragon tutorials. Kenpo for the street, Kinetica for your life. So, do you believe that Kenpo is entitled to one master, to one source, or does it belong to everybody? This is important if you want to understand the art and you want to understand what you're doing. Okay, so I believe that Kenpo, it's from everyone that practices. It belongs to humanity in a way, you know, um, because it was created to empower the individual, to give them the tools, right, so they know how to fight, right, or defend themselves, or go into combat. I believe that Kenpo is more a combative art than a self-defense art in its origins. So the Kenpo that got popular here in mainland, especially in the States, and then in the rest of the world, was the American version of Kenpo, or Kenpo Karate, from Senior Grandmaster Ed Parker. He was definitely a key player, and he's definitely going down in history as one of the big or the main characters or masters, one of the giants of Kenpo. Okay, but he's not alone. We need to know this. We need to understand this. There are other masters that did um, also a lot for the art. Okay, and especially understand the lineage of Kenpo and the origins. Okay, so Kenpo, we can say that because this is important, because people think that when they do, for example, if they do American Kenpo, they believe that Kenpo is the curriculum, the techniques, and it's definitely not. The techniques, it's the means, the way or the process created so you can learn Kenpo. Kenpo is this, um, ancient art of combat that comes from, from Parker. It was before Parker was William Chow, Professor Chow from Hawaii. Before Professor Chow, we have Mitosu Sensei, that was also from Hawaii, but that came from Japan. And then before them, we have the lineage, right, or the tradition. There was the Mitosu Sensei was a part of. And before that, Kenpo can be traced back to the Shaolin monks, right? The warrior monks from China, okay, 800, 900 years ago. Okay, so it goes all the way back to Bodhidharma, right, which is the known history, and that's actually correct. Okay, so Kenpo is ancient. At least it goes back 1,500 years ago. Okay, 1,500 years ago. That's a long time. Okay, back to Bodhidharma, the founder, or the one that it's known as the one that created or taught the Buddhist or the Shaolin monks, taught them the original hands and the origins of the martial art. Okay, so for example, the curriculum at Parker's curriculum is based upon this ancient knowledge. Okay, so Kenpo is not just a knowledge; it's an understanding. It's a wisdom that comes from years and centuries of refinement, of understanding, of training, and so many masters. Okay, so we cannot entitle this art to just or attach it to just one master. Okay, Kenpo, it's like the mother art, like Mr. Parker, the late Ed Parker would say. So even though that senior grandmaster is Ed Parker, it's a master. There are other masters. There's also the line that comes straight from James Mitose, who's the one that's in charge is Hanshi Bruce Jugni. That's also a line of Kenpo, but they're all as valid, all of them, all of them. Okay, because they all come from the same guy. And there's no such thing as true lineages of not. We can all trace our roots back to Mitose and back to the tradition that Mitose was a part of. Okay, same thing with Parker lineage. Same thing with the Emperado lineage. Same thing with all the Chow lineage, and so on and so forth. And even though the ones that left the tradition and created their own or went on their own way, still a part of this. Okay, so The Kenpo that we have now, it has evolved, yes, but still, it's based upon that knowledge. Okay, so instead of trying to entitle a Kenpo to one master, Mitosa is not that master. Chow is not that master. Parker is not that master. Neither is everybody else. They're all masters of the art. Yes. They're all important. Yes. They're all part of the lineage. Yes. But Kenpo is way older and way bigger than any of these guys. And they all have the right to belong to the system because they were all loyal to it and respectful to it in a way, right? Some of them got out of the tradition and got well, uh, lost, we should say, but the tradition didn't get lost. It continued. Okay. I'm not going to go into that because I don't want to talk badly about any of the structures because I have no right to do so. But I do want to talk about the positive side. Okay. So Kenpo, it's the combative art. Kenpo, it's a devastating art and it's very, very effective. Now, the version that we have now, we could say that is not the complete version of Kenpo because of times, because we don't use Kenpo to go to war. We use Kenpo to defend ourselves. So it's a self-defense version of Kenpo, of the original art, the combative Kenpo, the dark Kenpo, we could say that. But still, that power that that the art gives you, that Kenpo gives you, is still there, especially if you train the right way. Okay, and the right way to train Kenpo, it's with that aggressiveness, the original Kenpo. Okay, it's a devastating form of fighting, okay? And it's there. Okay, it's a part of it's the war art of Kenpo. It's that version, that aggressive, violent version. It's there because it was used for war. So if you go to war, you understand. If any of you guys who have been to war, I've never been to war, and I don't want to do it, but still, I understand that if you go to war, you're going to have to do or kill. Okay, because well, that's the scenario. You either killed or be killed. Like that old art that it was done in World War II. It says kill or be killed. That's the way it is. In war, there's only black and white. There are no shades of gray. Okay? Either you kill the enemy or the enemy will kill you. Okay? And that's okay if you don't like this and if you don't believe that, then don't go to war. That's fine. Okay? But Kenpo was created with that printing, that primal. Kenpo is so primal because that primal feeling of or impulse is there. Okay? And if you don't have that, you're not fully empowered by the art. Okay, but it's okay because then you can do Kenpo for recreation, and that's fine. But if you really tap into that Kenpo knowledge, you're going to get that in your training, and that's going to empower you. And therefore, you need to generate further on self-restraint or self-control. Mr. Parker used to talk about that. It's about self-restraint. If you don't have that self-restraint and you let loose of that impulse, that primal thing that you get from training Kenpo, you're going to get into trouble. Okay, so what is the I don't want to say watered down version because it's not a watered down, but the application of Kenpo for civilians. Well, the application of Kenpo for civilians, then you get karate. Okay, Todi, the Okinawan art that came from Trompa, from Kenpo, that's the civilian version of Kenpo. Okay, that's what it is. It comes from Trompa, it comes from Kenpo, same thing. But it was a version for civilians, to defend yourself from civilians. Okay? So Anko Itotsu, the great, or the grandfather of karate, which was the teacher of the sensei of Gijin Funakoshi sensei, who is who got the title of the Karate Do founder. Itosu talks about this in his precepts, the letter that he wrote back in 1908 to the Japanese government, where he was promoting Todi or karate. He didn't have the karate name yet. This guy said, karate is created to defend yourself using your hands and your feet against ruffians or villains. Okay, so against other civilians. So it was to address aggressions within the community, within the the people. So Kenpo, it's um, that you know aggressive art that comes from all the way back, right? And then you got um, the new version of Kenpo, the one that Mitose Sensei brought, that karate version, because well, he didn't want to create, you know, combative people. He just wanted to teach you how to defend yourself. And he says it. What is self-defense? It's the name of his book, the first book. And he said he was teaching people to defend themselves. So he was teaching them a karate version of Kenpo. So he got Kenpo. He knew Kenpo, but he chose to teach the tools for self-defense. It's like today. Let's say you have the whole Kenpo system and you just teach a self-defense course to some people and you don't give them the whole enchilada, right? That's what he did. Okay. So then William Chow, Professor Chow, learned this, but he had this experience, the street experience, and he added to that self-defense that he learned. And then he created and he got back that violent imprint or code, genetic code of Kenpo. He taught it to Ed Parker and to the Imperados, for example. And Kajo Kenpo, if you see original Kajo Kenpo, I mean, close to the source, you're going to see very violent and very aggressive practitioners. Okay, they really like to go at each other. Okay, they got it. They got it right. That part, right? And Mr. Parker went to the university, came to mainland, brought Kenpo to mainland, and added the psychology and the sociology that he learned in college and the university. So he created a better program for teaching it, okay, because he understood the psychology behind it. And he created a very good curriculum, but that's why it's still used up until this day, 50 years later, right? That it was created, because it was created in late 60s, late 60s, early 70s. The latest version, or the one with the 154 techniques and so on and so forth. Okay, it was when it's created. So Mr. Parker created a Kenpo with that imprint, right? That darkness, that's what the dark is, like whoa. But he created for the new scenario, the Western scenario, and he added new psychology and methods of teaching and learning. Okay? He understood better. So that's why he put names into the techniques and so on and so forth. That's why it's such a good system. Okay? So, sorry, I'm having some problems here. Okay, so this is important to understand. Okay, so Kenpo, it's a very good art, but it's not entitled to any masters. Okay, and it's not about the program. It's about learning that combative part of it applied to new reality. Okay, and because that combativeness, that aggressiveness, is what really empowers you. And any Kenpo practitioner who has felt this in their training knows what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm not saying it's exclusive of Kenpo. Okay, I'm just saying it's a part of Kenpo. I'm not talking about any other arts right now. Just talking about Kenpo. Okay, but see, there's a big lack of this as well. And that's why Kenpo in a way, I believe, okay, this is my personal opinion. I could be totally wrong, but I believe that one of the main reasons why Kenpo is not the ultimate in self-defense anymore is because it's not there. It is not because it's not because it's not there. Sorry, it is because some people lost that connection and they got caught up in the art and looking beautiful and learning and recreation. And there's nothing wrong with it because you still get that personal development, and that's fine. Okay, and that's the same thing that happened with karate. But karate did it consciously. They focus on that personal development, and in a way, Parker did that as well. Parker had that you could see it in him. Okay, he had that, definitely, he did. But then he realized he could empower people, families, students of college and even kids, well, if you're going to do that, you need to diminish that, or let go of that aggressiveness and just give them the confidence and the secureness or assurance that you get from training a martial art, from knowing how to handle your body. Okay? And it's the same thing that happened with Karate Do and Todi, the original art from Okinawa. The Japanese added the Do, the Budo, and did it a more an art more focused on developing yourself and adding philosophies. And that's just fine too. Okay? So when you learn Kenpo, remember that Kenpo is not entitled to just one masters. They're all the masters, and all the practitioners they have the right to be a part of Kenpo, and they're all as equally as legit as the next or the one before them. You guys are all legit Kenpo guys. You should always remember that. Kenpo is an amazing art, and it could be devastating, but it also can be constructive of the individual because it empowers you, and it gives you confidence, and it gives you the power of knowing how to handle your body in a stressful situation. I'm Frank Soto. These are the Kinetic Dragon tutorials. Kenpo for the street, Kinetica for your life. Thank you. You guys have a great day. Bye bye.